Hey everybody, I'm going to be telling you about Prosperon. It's a Bio-Cyberpunk role-playing game. Now, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about it before we actually delve into the PDF. So it is on Drive to RPG, and you can pick up the PDF. As of right now, the PDF is $3.99. It's on sale. It's normally $4.99, so $5. Okay, so let's keep that in our mind. One thing I want to say is that the company who makes this is called No Limelight Productions. It seems to be a couple by the name of Deborah and Marlon Graham, and this is a obvious, uh, absolute labor of love. And yes, it's an independent role playing game. You're not going to find some amazing art and incredible layouts or anything like that. But what you are going to find is obviously a lot of passion for this game. Now, I am going to have some kind of suggestions for it as I read through it. It's a very big book. I was actually very surprised by it. And I wanted to let you know, too, that the Drive to RPG title page for this, they do a really great job of kind of keeping you informed of where they're at with this game, with a lot of updates that are dated and letting you know what they've done to the PDF file. And there are plans to make it in an actual print-on-demand book. But I really enjoy that Drive to RPG, which that title page. I'll have a link so you can go check it out. They've broken down every single thing of what they've updated, how they've changed it, the rationale behind it. It's kind of interesting to see it like that because you don't usually see that on Draft RPG title pages. But no, you can tell it's obviously a very much a labor of love. Deborah does the art, and they both work on it, and it's a staggering amount of work. So let's go ahead and take a look at it. So here's the cover, and you can see it right there. And yeah, it's not like a super big budget art that's going to be throughout this book, but it does have a lot of great writing in it. It's got a lot of really cool imagination, and it's sometimes it's a thing where you can tell that the ideas would just kept on coming, and they just kept putting it out, and it just kept flowing. So I'll be showing you what I think about it here. So it says powered by the Prosper Light system. So they've got their little thanks right there and their disclaimer. And yeah, Marlon and Deborah Graham. And Marlon has watched my videos and is a supporter of my channel. So really appreciate that. So inspirations behind the book. So obviously the grid, the atmospheric grid of Blade Runner to the bold systems of Cyberpunk 2020 Red and 2077. And then it talks about some of the tabletop game systems like Index Card RPG, Freeform Universal, Neon City Overdrive, and Tomorrow City. It says you'll notice a bit of these inspirations lovingly scattered throughout, small nods, hidden gems, and dashes of the things I truly admire. So it's my way of inviting you into the worlds and ideas that shape me as a creator. So here we've got our table of contents. And like I said, this is a lot. This is a lot to take in. Okay, there's some fiction in there. There is a lot of history telling you what you're actually going to be playing. You're going to be playing someone that's called a Vanguard. The history of it is actually quite interesting, and I'm not going to be able to break down all this because, as you can see, as we're going through, this is a chunky game. So yeah, we've got some fiction here. It's going to be telling you about the Project Vanguard. And I'm going to say that I think the writing is really good. It's very easy to understand, and I didn't see any problems with it really. No errors, which is amazing in a book this size. I don't know if it's just something where they have just poured everything they have into this game, that they've checked it, double checked it, triple checked it. So here's the setting preview. I kind of like this too, the time period, the setting type, heroic cyberpunk with mystical elements. This is kind of a neat thing because it's going to show you right off the bat kind of what this is kind of about. So it's not on Earth, it's on planet Prosperon. And so it's a completely different thing. Of course, we've left Earth in this game, and we've traveled to this planet. So it does talk about some compatible systems, the one that I mentioned there before. So if you don't want to use the system that they've created, you could use one of the other ones. So it's going to tell you obviously about a world that had to pretty much leave itself. The people had to leave and go find another world. So what you'll need to play, it uses one D20 and at least 4 to 5 D10s. Kind of interesting there. There is some tokens. You have some Destiny tokens, and there's not a whole bunch more you need from it, so that's not bad at all. So now here we have the Prosper system, and it says it's modular, and I'm going to have a couple of suggestions here for Marlon and Deborah here. Just my take from seeing a bunch of products and things. So pretty much the core of it is you have an attribute and you have a skill die. So your attribute die is a d20 and your skill die is a d10. So a character with a power attribute of 12 and a combat skill of 5 rolls both dice. And what they're trying to do is roll under those numbers. Obviously, that's easy to do. It's a roll under mechanic. And so you still have to roll the score under the score of 5 or the attribute score of 12. And of course, they mean more or less depending on what is being rolled. And you're going to get these tags, diversity tags. So they're going to help you, giving you bonus D10s whenever you're making your roll. And that's really kind of the system is you're going to get these bonus dice whenever you're good at something. And you're going to be trying to roll under your attribute. And of course, you're going to have modifiers and stuff like that. So this whole front part here is not a whole bunch of pages compared to some other games. And it's going to break it down like attribute versus skill, your skill rolls, multiple successes on a skill die. Like you get, it's got the partial standard and kind of like the graduating kind of levels of success here. And you get something called flair because you can get some flair with the more successes you get. You do it with style or finesse. And then, of course, natural one is a semi on your skill die is a semi critical success because obviously it's harder. I mean, it's easier to get a natural one on a D10, but a natural one on a D20 is a critical success. So that's cool. And of course, you've got the opposite with natural 20s or 10 rolls. And I think it's a neat system. And we've seen kind of some stuff like this before, but it's a little bit different. And like right here, the only thing my suggestion would be is example. I would love to have seen an example of this. And they're working on this game all the time. They're obviously still dedicated to it, and I'm almost certain they'll probably hopefully take some of my suggestions to heart there and maybe add in it because it's a new system. It's different for people. And another thing I would do is there's a couple times where it tells you about optional things or if you want to make the game more difficult. It's not just here, but it's kind of all throughout this beginning section. And what I would do is I would remove all those things, make it as easy as possible for someone that's learning this new system to not get bogged down with some stuff that might be optional or a harder difficulty if you want that harder difficulty, is to put that all into a section all to itself. That way you can just kind of transition over to it if that's what you want. So it's going to break down again, like I said, all about these different successes. You got horrific critical failures, and then the diversity tags. So it says, like such as right here, it doesn't increase the percentage range of success for a skill. Players roll an additional D10 or a specialized skill acquired through their diversity tags. This additional roll enhances the likelihood of success and introduces a simple yet effective layer of strategy when building out your character. So these tags are obviously really going to help you a lot. And it's kind of what it's kind of all based on is these skill tags. And then right here it says like for a more challenging experience, these rules can be revoked. Tag upgrades are off the table. Each player gets one diversity tag per tag, no upgrades. So it's got some optional things in there. Again, like I said, I would probably remove those from this beginning section and give us as many examples as possible. And that's really where the book is over 300 pages long. And that's impressive. That's very impressive. That is a lot of heart that's been put into this. But it's almost kind of thing where I would shrink it and I would make it a little bit easier to digest and then either do another book or maybe take out what you can, maybe just kind of shrink it a little bit, make it a little bit more easily accessible for someone who's new to this game that wants to try it out. That's kind of my suggestion overall for the book. Obviously the heart and the passion is there. It's really there. Because I was really impressed by everything. I was like, whoa, someone has just really poured a lot of neat imagination into this. So we've got our attributes right here, the 4 core attributes: power, cognition, influence, and resilience. Then you've got skills. There's going to be physical, awareness, social, technical, survival, combat, knowledge, and mobility. I really like those. So those really cover all the big gambit that you're going to need. There is a luck dice system that's in there, a hazard rating. It's a mechanic that introduces escalating challenge. So it's going to give you some negatives, obviously. It can raise or lower the scale as needed. So it's something that's obviously very modular for it. And overall, these rules are not difficult at all, I didn't think. There's some rules here for like dual wielding, in the combat area there, hand-to-hand combat rules, obviously. But there's just a lot of kind of optional things that they've thought about, and it's been put in there. And it's going to be a lot for you to kind of digest this whole section. So Again, I'm going to sound like a broken record right here. In this section, I'd love to see examples, especially for kind of the core rules of the game. So you do have this thing that's a martyr token. I think that's really neat. It's pretty much you get only one martyr token exists for the entire campaign, not one per session, not one per arc, just a single shared lifeline for the whole journey. It represents the crew's last resort chance to escape a catastrophic scenario, like a total party kill. I dig that. I think that's cool. And I've seen that with other games where it's by person, but it's neat that there's only one of them. Um, it says that while it may resemble mechanics found in other games, its implementation here is distinctive. It can be proposed at any time during the campaign, but its activation requires a unanimous agreement of the group. When the crew faces unsurmountable crisis, when the failure seems inevitable, and survival hangs by a thread, the martyr token offers a single desperate way out. I think it's cool. I like that, and that's something that you could easily add into any game. And it's going to tell you about how to build a character, and it's one of the best things here is for us to go. There's a bunch of stuff here about being a Vanguard, Bioware, Cyberware. Your stuff like loadout limits and carrying upgrades. You have weaknesses and advantage tags. I'm going to bog down too much this video of the rules here. Crypto is the currency. Then like right here, you got this optional edge point system right here, telling you like from sessions, how many sessions it's going to take you for how much XP, and then it suggested you're going to spend those on a certain amount of tags, maybe leveling up a skill. Tells you about the player growth, shorter campaigns, again, optional fast track options. So a lot of different stuff are there. But here, this is helpful right here for how to build your character. So you're gonna write a character description, maybe their appearance, demeanor, notable traits. Define their moral approach and philosophy. You can choose or create a personal code, and there's pre-made options for you. And then you're going to assign your attribute and skill score. So D20 is, of course, it's roll under. It's not equal, it's roll under. So you're going to choose your starting scores of 10, 8, 6, and 4. And then there's a couple of different options again for like a beginner friendly. You can have some more like 12, 10, 8, 6 or 14, 12, 10, 8. So yeah, and then it says boost may come. I really like this page. I think it's really good. Boost may come from gene splicing or neuro elixirs, and scores can be assigned freely to any attribute or skill. Then you have your skills, and again, you're going to have it. Reminds me a little bit of kind of the World of Darkness, kind of putting your little dots. Choose your diversity tags, and you can have some starting tags there, but you begin with 5 tags or 7 for new players. And this again is where a thing where it's good to have it on this sheet, but it's just still more optional stuff that might be a little bit challenging for you to grab all that maybe was optional, or maybe it makes the game difficult, or maybe it makes it easier. And you're going to continue on down this way, completing out your character sheet here, deciding about a bunch of different tags that you're going to get, starting weapons, you're starting crypto, and then we're going to start getting to like the fall of Earth. This is their backstory right here, and I dug it. I really liked enjoying listening to reading, and I listen to a lot of these books with my phone as I'm driving and stuff like that. So it was really interesting to hear some of this because it was it's a neat story about kind of how people were made different in the future, about how a disease today, like the disease on Earth, was exploited by these corporations and used as a weapon. And it's just neat. It's a really cool read, and I really dug that part of it. The backstory is great. Um, Talking about how they arrived on Prosperon, the planet that they're going to be on, and how its atmosphere is different. Everything's kind of a little bit strange, a little bit different to it. So I liked the fact that it's not Earth. We've seen that a whole bunch of different times. I like that it's not Earth, but we're going to get to that kind of um, Bioware, Cyberware future with some extra kind of powers involved as well. I think that's a cool piece of art right there. And there's a lot of characters, a lot of NPCs that are going to be let you know about. Some of the things that happened in the past and decisions that were made, scientists that were involved in certain things. And then we've got the Vanguard. This is good right here. It's not just one organization. It's a movement of freedom fighters from all walks of life united by their stand against corporate power. So again, this is that kind of dystopian, but it's on another world. Members include ex-corporate workers who have turned against their former employers. So there's obviously corporations that you're going to be fighting against. And there's a really cool thing at the back. One thing that's really neat at a game like that is go to the back. There's some tables, and it tells you how to, you can roll up some mission ideas. And I didn't want to share that immediately because it's 300 pages, so it's way far back there. But we'll get to it here in a second because I'm not going to be able to go through all of this thing. It's just so much. But I want you to see the amount of work and passion that was put into this. And I feel that it's a thing where it's they just couldn't stop. You know, it was like, we got this idea, we got this idea, let's put it in there. And it's going to be a little bit difficult for people just to get involved in this. They have to really dedicate themselves, I feel, if they want to try to absorb all this, because it's fully fleshed out. So we've got different type of Vanguard cells, obviously groups. They're going to have different names here, like the Ironbound Sentinels, Cell 77, the Shield there, the Invisible Hand. It's some cool stuff with some really cool ideas. And I was just looking at this. I was like, man, look at all this. I do that a lot. You know, honestly, I look at a lot of games and I can just see where someone just kept on going. You've got the Vanguard and the careers telling you more about them. The career system right here. They have a stat-based salary system. I like all the way it's kind of laid out here. It's pretty easy to navigate, and yeah, there's a lot here to it. Some stuff that if I try to break it down to you, you might get bogged down with it, but you can just see again the amount of imagination and ideas that are thrown at this game as we continue on down the. We're only on page 80, you know, so there's 82. There is a lot of nonfiction. We've got factions and powers. I really dig this section here. Again, telling you about all these different factions like the Parliament of Free Territories, the Congregation of the Divine Eye. And it's not just like a one paragraph. I mean, you can see here that there's 3-4 paragraphs for some of these. And then some unique concepts that it's got. The syntax mesh is an invisible energy network that covers all of Prosperon, but it's stronger in some places than others. Corporations see the mesh as both a resource and a threat. There's just tons. There's tons of stuff going on in this. Here's some game themes right here. Campaign hooks, infiltration. Players must pose as corporate entities to retrieve vital information or rescue a high-value target. The tournament, a public competition of inscriber skills, becomes a battleground for corporate recruitment and Vanguard resistance. I really like that stuff. Getting that stuff out there, that you see it, that you know exactly what you're going to be doing in this game. Different type of assignments, target eliminations, espionage ops, smash and grabs. There's a whole bunch of different ones here. And again, I like, all throughout it, trying to give you a feel of the way that the world is some fiction. And I dig that. Contracts and how they work. Here's a whole bunch of locations of interest right here. The corporate territories, the frontier regions, major cities and continents that's going on with a map. You see, this is a pretty heavy section here with a lot of different places, a chop shop, places you can eat and things like that. You can't eat them, but you can go and eat at them, of course. But look at all this. It's a bunch of stuff. And like I said, I hate to just fly by it. I'd love to sit here and tell you all about it. But yeah, there's a ton of stuff here. There's this moon that is a mini setting within the Prosperon universe. Again, with prominent NPCs, corporate figures, independent operators, criminal elements that are all throughout it. So, I mean, I think it's a thing where if you like Cyberpunk, obviously inspired by it, you like kind of like BioWare stuff as well, you can really get a lot of meat into this game. And I like the fact that it says, hey, look, if you don't like this system, you don't want to use this system, you got a system you like, here's a cool setting for you too. So it's really, full setting with a rule set that might be different to you, could work very well with your group. And then look, I'm looking at, we're at 146, so we're almost halfway through the book, and I'm gonna start kind of flying through it here. And I said, I feel like I'm shortchanging it, but this video would be so long, and it just has to do with so much of the effort that was put into it. Optional Vanguard backgrounds right here. And these are really cool. It helps you kind of see. We got a street ripper, and I like the descriptions. A lot of the writing is just very easy. It doesn't try to give you a lot of advanced kind of technical jargon and trying to be all flowery with its language. Very cut straight to it. Urban combatants who rely on physical strength and basic biological enhancements. You've got the Twilight Runner, stealthy operatives who use camouflage biomods and move unseen. So as you can see, there we go. Biomedic, waste scrapper. There's a whole bunch here, and I think that's really neat to give those options too. As we keep scrolling through enemy factions of the Vanguard. So now we're going to hear about some cool organizations that are against them. Elite Woman Only Mercenary Collective, who were once corporate security specialists before going independent. That is the Crimson Orchids, the Iron Covenant. So some things to throw at your players. I like how it's got key members, let you know about them if you want to kind of ramp them up. Factions and non-faction enemies. Telling you, like, this is kind of like their brief stats here for like the Orchids. You've got their health, their hazard level, and their positive stats, their weakness stats. I'm sorry, tags that they've got. Um, as you can see, so I like that. It's kind of give you, and it's got bosses too, so I think that's cool. And then you can make an enemy combatant building table right here. You can roll a d20 and kind of create your own enemy combatant. I really like that with this table. That's really cool. So, and then there's a bunch of beasts. The flora and fauna of Prosperon are truly remarkable and distinct. I should say so. Giant insects. You've got a lot of crazy things here. Creepy crawlers, aquatic animals, like the cryo shell. That's cool. Hydroscale, flying animals. Probably gonna, that one, he looks cool. He looks pissed about something. Land animals, we got them. Again, very easy stats. You just got their armor, their health, and their damage that they do, or that system that it uses. And there's a bunch of them. And then we've got the weapons warehouse. And this is thing too. I was like, wow, look at this neural whip. And it's the description is very thorough. And like this isn't just like, hey, like this is a katana. It's a quantum katana, and it's going to give you some good information about it, help meld it into that world. And as you can see, tech enhanced traditional weapons. There's a lot to it. Man, I always like looking through a bunch of weapons and things like that. Heavy weapons, advanced combat systems, explosive weapons. We like blowing stuff up. Technological support gear, non-lethal weapon options. If you just want to knock somebody out, ammunition market, Bioware catalog, premium organic enhancements for your Vanguard. So you've got a whole bunch of stuff here that you can look through. We got Wolverine bone claws if you want that. You want Schluck and you don't want Schlick. But as you can see, it just keeps going. And cyberware workshops, you are going to have that cyberware choices for you. I do like how it kind of changes color, like the backgrounds and black and stuff like that. Some neat changes right there. More fiction. And then this, Exo Shells, comprehensive guide to body transference. So consciousness can be transferred in bodies or merely vessels. I like this a lot. This is neat technology here, pretty advanced stuff. So it's going to tell you a lot about that. There's neuro elixirs. I like that name, and their healing effects. So it's going to tell you a bunch about them. A bunch of armor. This section's pretty big. We got hand-to-hand combat here. Vehicles. So obviously, the stuff you have in a lot of futuristic games is going to be really where your character is going to make their way in the world. Safe havens and Vanguard strongholds. I like this as well. Different places for you to live. Definitely reminds me of how Cyberpunk was one of the very first role-playing games I ever bought. Wasn't the first one I played, but it was one of the very first I bought. And I remember enjoying those sections as well. And yeah, the legacy net, there's just so much. I mean, I'm really impressed, and that's the thing too. I see a game like this and someone reach out to me and it's like, you know, I want to help. I want to help let people know about this game. This could be for someone out there, that wants a big cyber BioWare game that they can really dive into that is just fully fleshed out. And I'm just scrolling through some stuff. Here's that random generator. So we're getting towards the end here. And they need to know about it. And I'm more than happy to help let people, see what it's all about. Give them a link so they can check it out. You can help make your character there. And then this right here, I wanted to show this like the first thing, like tough neighborhood descriptions. Rain Slick Alley is lined with digital graffiti. There's some tough neighborhoods there, that's their descriptions. Random encounters that you may have. Hacked billboards, propaganda from anti-corp faction hijacks every display screen, drawing immediate hostility. There's a black market auction maybe, or memory theft. A neural hacker is stealing memories from the pedestrians in exchange for credits. This helps you immediately kind of know what you'll be doing in this game. And as you can see, there's random encounters for the opulent neighborhoods. And I like those different encounter tables for the kind of different classes, if you wish. Clubs, bars, and nightlife. And we've got some small businesses. I like this stuff. I like a lot of tables things just to help you kind of quickly roll stuff up, get you playing like this. But like right here, your job, blackmailed maybe, framed. You have to track down a mystery neuro runner before their mind is lost in neurospace, but you're opposed by maybe a powerful street gang that profits from maintaining the current chaos. I love how those things just kind of work together. I dig that, And then what's the twist? The job is a setup to lure out someone from your past. Job hooks for Prosperon cities. Random table for Prosperon. What's going on? That's a big one there. It's a D66 Megacorp table. So you've got a bunch of different corporations there, what they do. And yeah, it's a lot. I dig it, man. I dig the passion. I dig that a bunch. There's the character sheet right there, and then we get towards the end. So there it is. It's a tabletop RPG set in a dystopian future where towering mega corporations have tightened their grip on society, reducing human lives to nothing more than data points in a sprawling machine. Within this bleak reality, the Vanguard, of course, a courageous group of insurgents rises to defy the growing corporate stranglehold. And I like the fact it's not on Earth. It's just different. It makes it different. It throws some of those weird elements into the plays, like the different creatures and animals and beasts like that, and give you a little bit more options. I always like that. That was the thing about Cyberpunk 2 is that while it's a great game, the scope, of course, can be something that a lot of people may not want. They want maybe a little bigger scope to it. So as I scroll back, you can see all this work that's been done with this game. And while it might not be have the most amazing art, I see a lot of passion here. I see a lot of work and dedication to building this up. A lot of people put out games and products that have just a drop of inspiration, imagination, and just willpower and put it out there. And this is quite the opposite. This is a lot of probably a lot of sweat went into making this, and a lot of neat ideas. So I'm at page 114 as I scroll through this. So if you were looking for a game that's like Cyberpunk, BioWare, futuristic cities, corporations that are run amok, and you want a game that it is a lightweight system. I will give it that once you understand it, but please give us some examples. That would be really helpful of how that system works. Even if you think it might be easy, sometimes people have a difficulty getting their mind around, especially if you give a lot of optional rules in there. That I think should probably be its own, little section in the book of all those different changes to the main rules. So there it is, a cool game. I said, don't let it, pass you by if you're looking for a game that's got some sort of, you're looking for something that's got BioWare, Cyberpunk, futuristic things going for it. And it's a lot. It's a lot to take in, but it's probably for someone out there. And I hope this video has been very helpful for you. So thanks a lot.